every time. Yes, the little dialy deal. This is every time. Every time.
Go. Hello.
And we're live.
Hello. I keep waiting for that photo in the top right to move. It's so lifelike.
It is.
Welcome to the Crow's Nest. Sorry about last week. Real job, real work stuff got in the way. Unfortunately, I try to avoid that. I block out my calendar to do this. I wait and save my lunch hour till the end of the day to do this show. And sometimes the bigger, higher up people that pay the real bills say, no, you need to do this at this time. So that's what happened last week. My apologies. We're back this week, and we're back with super special guest Frank Schumacher from Nightheart Gaming. And you may know Frank from his previous life. Anybody can guess? Anybody in the comments chats can guess? A little known band in the what was it, the late 90s, Frank, that you were in? We were going under a different name at that time. Out of Canada. I didn't know you were from Canada originally. I didn't know that. You've been hiding that from us as well. But doesn't he look a little bit like the lead singer to Nickelback in this luxurious photo?
I should have never sent this photo in.
So I always ask for photos before the show starts. And hello, Frank, by the way. Please say hello to everybody, and I'll continue driving the bus over you.
Hello. Okay. Just back it up. Yeah.
I always ask for photos. Anybody that's been on the show send me, usually I ask for a couple of photos. And Frank sent me this photo along with a couple of logo photos for Nightheart Gaming. I didn't even look at those. This was the first file I opened up. I don't even know what those potentially are. This was just classic. And I think it just may show up in future episodes, even if you're not on, Frank. I love it. I love it. I'm having a man crush on you right now. So
he's already set it to his desktop background.
It's funny because I just made it smaller, and I've got the Twitch streaming. Okay, it just shrunk on the Twitch screen. But yeah. So how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. We're as good as we're gonna be. I'm evaluating our hurricane path, where this is and stuff.
The double whammy. Are you just getting one still, or are both of them potentially coming your way?
The first one really didn't do anything to us. That's
Okay.
Marco. The Laura, that it looks, we're gonna have to make some decisions.
How did Marco get ahead of Laura? Aren't they named they're named in alphabetical order, but Marco wasn't.
But they are named in alphabetical order. But I think there's a. I actually don't know.
You just want to say Polo?
I do. But I was afraid that actually in our house we did hear a couple times. Someone would say Marco and someone would say Polo.
All right. Oh, hey, Gene wants that shirt of your portrait on the front. I think that'd be a great shirt. I think that would be awesome. I love it.
You know what? Imagine Reaper Errant going live and every one of the artists is just wearing this shirt with your picture on it, Frank.
Oh, that'd be great. God. So let's back up a little bit. And for those of you that don't know who Frank is, and I'm sure most of you watching this do, but just in case there's one or two that don't, Frank, you run Nightheart Gaming along with a ton of other things. But how you and I have got to know each other is Reaper Errant, our D&D game that's on every other Friday, which has been an absolute blast. And I want to thank you up front for that. All the shit I'll give you during the show is going to, just know that I really care about you and really love that we do that D&D thing every other Friday.
Thank you. I love having you play.
Yeah.
That's the goal, that you have fun. And everybody else playing, of course, has fun.
Even though we're just a bunch of murder hobos.
You're not all a bunch of murder. Well, first, let me backpedal a little bit. So I along with Anne, run Nightheart Gaming. I couldn't do it without her. It would be way assumptive and inappropriate for me to.
You're leaving out one key player, though. You got Anne and you, and.
I don't think the bird gets in the way.
Yeah, no. I forget the parrot's name.
Luna.
And Luna's a key part of it. Luna adds to the terrain.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that.
Right. She literally.
Sometimes takes away literally too.
Yeah,
chipping off a piece here and there.
So you not all of us are murder hobos, but majority.
No,
of us
absolutely.
Are. Yeah.
You're all wonderful, distinctly different players.
Okay, good. And I'm pretty much the weakest player, just because I don't really understand D&D. But
no,
you're helping.
I don't think so.
You're helping me. We were talking before the show about D&D and the game, the Reaper Errant game, and what I think is really cool. And when I started coming and painting miniatures, and I don't play D&D at home or anything like that. The only time I would get to play is when we would go to Reaper, and we would kind of put these games together on the fly, and Kevin Williams would DM and whatnot. But I always gave everybody crap because there was all these miniatures around, and we would end up playing with unpainted miniatures or, chips or whatever, and then draw out the map. What I've always wanted to do was, and I wasn't going to put in the effort of preparing it, but I always wanted to play D&D where we had a big, huge set, all the caverns and the houses and the terrain and stuff. And dude, you and Anne and Luna have done a great job with all of the terrain pieces and the sets and stuff. And that's just a ton of fun. So
it is, I don't know. I mean, I've obviously started without any of that stuff and still enjoy playing without it, but it adds some of that mind inspiring fantasy to it that I want in my game if I can.
Yeah. Well, it's super cool. It's super cool. Oh, so let's talk a little bit. Let's catch up on some stuff that I normally talk about in the beginning. So today we're going to be working on the Dead Men, Dead Pirate king sitting on his throne. This is part of the help me Justin or Frank, which the Brian Wynn bundle, the Brian Wynn box. And this was sculpted by Jason Wiebe. And this is a resin piece that comes in the set if you bought the Brian Wynn box. I am still been painting on it. You got one in the mail, didn't you, Frank?
Yeah, it's an incredible piece. I love it.
And this is the base. So I had to have them all three separate while I paint it. Sometimes I would just assemble the whole thing and paint it, and where you can't see it, I just paint it black. But I just kind of kept them separate for now because I was airbrushing it up and putting some blocking and some highlights and shadows, and that coming in with some colors. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Last week I had promised that I was going to show the miniature and go over a little bit on my class that's next Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. Is that right, Justin? Which will be Shaded Metallics. And the miniature we're going to be using is, if you haven't ordered it already, is Logrum Battle Fury. And this is the metal version. But I wanted to make sure that there was an option to do the class, so you can use a metal version or use a Buns version. So all those that did the Kickstarters that have this already, maybe you haven't painted it yet, and you got a Buns version laying, I just wanted to make sure it was super easy. Or if you needed to order it, it's just a couple of bucks, $2 or $3, I think, for the Bones version. And this is, I think, $7 or $8. I can't remember. But he comes in just two pieces if you get the metal version. The head and the arms are all connected, and you just glue it on, and you're good to go. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing Shaded Metallics. So you'll see here that I just kind of wanted to base coat it off. So anybody that's going to take the class, to prep for the class, have your miniature primed. If you have a metal miniature, prime it up. If you don't have a metal miniature and you have a Bones version, what we're going to be working on is both steel and bronze. And I like this figure because on the back, and Bobby Jackson sculpted this, it's kind of uniform. It's the right side and the left side are the same. So we're going to paint this side, his left side, bronze, and then we're going to paint his right side blue. Now, you took my class. Was it last ReaperCon? Did you take Shaded Metallics, Frank?
I've taken it multiple times, but yes, last ReaperCon as well.
I impart such great knowledge that you just need to keep taking it.
No, there's so much knowledge, and I only hyper focus in on one thing at each time that I have to keep taking.
So you made last year's class, which was this guy, right? Did you get him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one of those. Yeah. It's,
So he's cool. I hope we don't encounter him, but I have a feeling we might. So that's what we're going to be doing. And you'll notice on this, and if you want to prep for the class, you heard me say, hey, it's Shaded Metallics. Why the hell are you painting green and blue on there? We're going to talk about that during the class, but basically it helps. The green helps with the bronze, the blue helps with the silver. And what it is it's a base coat before a base coat, because if you prime your miniatures white or you start off with Bones, if you paint metallics right over a white surface, it tends to zap the color, zap the intensity. I like to have an underlaying of a base color underneath, and you can change it up and do a bunch of different things. If you want to know the actual colors that we're going to do, it is so I used Highlands Moss 9083 for the green. It looks a little too green here. Maybe I substituted something else. And then I used Ashen Blue, which is 9057 for the blue side. And you'll see during the class that it helps with the bronze read more bronze, and the tarnished steel read more that way too. So that's going to be fun. I think for an hour and a half. Is that how long the class is, Justin? About an hour and a half, hour 45?
For your Shaded Metallics?
Yeah.
I think it's more like an hour 15.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, yeah, people will lose content then.
Well, I'm sorry. The listed is an hour and a half, but you don't get the whole hour and a half. Remember, you got to cut it off towards the end so we can get prepared for the next show.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll rock through it all, and we're gonna go through some stuff. And I'm gonna have we're gonna do some basic stuff, and then I have two more of these guys that I'm gonna be working on in the meantime, and then we'll show like advanced techniques and stuff. So sometimes when I get into the class and there's this room of 10 to 12 people, I may not get far along enough, and that's why Frank needs to keep taking the classes because I don't get far enough into them. This time I'm gonna be ready to go. All right, we've done this. Here's some advanced kind of stuff. But we're gonna do not only the shading metallics, we're gonna do some tinting and glazing and adding colors and adding interest and adding like if you can see, here you go, the textures and whatnot, and like in his foot here, we're gonna do some textures with like stamped metal and beaten down and weathered and whatnot, but blend them all together. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun. I've been playing a lot with NMM lately, and coming back to shaded metallics has actually kind of changed my mindset a little bit on some stuff. So it'll be interesting to teach. Every time I teach the class, it's been different. And this is a miniature that I've used to teach with all the time, and I've changed it up over the last few times. But I wanted to go back to this, especially due to the format, and wanted to make sure since when we have ReaperCon last year, we were able to do that larger figure because I could include it into the price of the ticket. And since there's no tickets this time and you've got to go out and buy your own figure, I wanted to make sure it was cost effective for you guys to do that too. So anyways, Iggy, thank you. Excited for the shaded metallics. Thank you. I can't wait to teach it. It'll be a lot of fun. Anybody else I'm missing? I saw Gene on. I see Greg Zuniga on, or Zuniga, as Rhonda says. I think Rhonda's on too. Yeah, Rhonda's on as well. Anyway, so Frank.
Yeah.
Nightheart Gaming.
Yeah.
Tell me. I mean, so you've been playing D&D forever. And love the whole scene. At what point? Maybe this is too open-ended of a question, but when were you like, I want to take this streaming? You know what I mean? Like, were you
wow?
Like, how long have you been twitching? Is that a word?
Well, I don't know. Anything can be verbalized, right? I think. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, so I've wanted to record it for a very long time because, you play with your friends and then you talk about it the next day or the next week and you want to relive the awesome moments. And, but I'd record it and you'd have 4 hours or 6 hours of people eating Cheetos and just a bunch of boring chatter with a couple of highlights. I wanted to start streaming in before 5th edition came out, actually, but didn't have a game group to do that. And at some point, and I'd also just moved to the Houston area, so just had a game group that didn't want to stream, and I respected that or record it. And then at some point, I built up to like 5 different game groups that I was DMing for, and I started talking more and more to Anne about, I want to stream this. And it was about 2 years ago now. She was like, well, start streaming it. So all she had to do was take away that barrier, and we ramped up and started streaming games.
So she's the one that was really gave you the green light to go ahead and do it, and gave you the confidence to say, screw it, I'm going to pull the trigger and do it. So go ahead. It's a big deal for your household. For our household, it's a humongous pressure on the household. So everyone's got to be on board. So, and including Luna, what was Luna's initial take on it all?
Really enjoyed the opportunity to bite guests as they came over and give them general hell.
So you were doing, and I don't think I've had watched any or saw or was exposed to any of your streaming prior to the COVID, right? Because that's when we started doing the Reaper Errant.
Yeah.
And you had people over, and then had them on streaming over at your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's cool. Now, do you ever get to play as a character still, or are you just kind of a DM all the time?
Well, I've always been a DM. I don't know that I prefer DMing more than I prefer playing, but I truly mean that in a quantity statement. I love to play, but just in lower doses.
Oh, okay.
So, and I didn't know that until fairly recently because I had almost always DM'd and never played. But I do get to play occasionally. Anne has a game we don't stream that I get to play a character in, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. I think it's the only really game I currently play in, which
Oh,
is
okay.
yeah.
So when you're DMing, and I always wonder this when we're doing our little Reaper errands, and the murder hobos decide to go left and maybe you were thinking, oh man, if they would have gone right, this would have been really cool to happen. Does that does that happen a lot? Like I remember in the Baba Yaga's hut, we were that one room, and you were kind of leaning us. It felt like we were kind of like, hey, you want to check out this room? But we didn't. We went around the corner and went up the stairs. Um, I know we missed something. Do you care to share what we missed? And
Um,
then,
huh. Well, I don't want to give people any kind of remorse, so I won't share
oh,
what you
come on,
missed.
that's
You
what
might have
this
missed
show's all
something.
about. Yeah.
You might have missed something that wasn't very important. Just, you didn't spend a lot of time in some of the lower areas. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I mean, I've been DMing a long time, so
Mhm.
I don't. If I lay down a roadmap, if it is even solid enough to be a roadmap, I would never like if you go left and you haven't gone right,
Mhm.
and I think the fun stuff was right, you don't know what's right, so I just make it left
Oh, okay. Okay.
if
That's
that's where the
cool.
fun stuff is going to be.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's interesting. You don't even know. I mean, you can make those changes on the fly, and we wouldn't even know what the heck we're doing. Um, is it interesting to see? Like I've noticed it sometimes on our show when we get to a problem or get to a new encounter, how long sometimes it takes us to decide what to do. You know? Um,
Sometimes that can be the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, watching the different forms of problem solving and working as a
Hmm.
team together and or not working as a team together depending on how it's going, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But although you all make a great team when you're playing, but it's fun to see that
That's
you
what you were
know,
saying before the show.
you all play differently.
I'm just joking. You were saying no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I needed to interrupt there.
No, that's really all that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Watching what you create something and then someone else gets to play with it, and as a dungeon master, you get the added joy of watching it real time, watching it lay out and unfold real time. And hopefully you have enough wisdom to just stay out of it and not try to force people do things that aren't fun.
No, I think it's one thing that I wanted to comment in my limited um, D&D experiences is you kind of do let it happen. You control the tempo and where we're going and the pace and what have you, but you do. I watch you, or yeah, watch you kind of take a step back and let us fumble through our decisions and what we're going to do, and uh, argue or growl, talk with one another and go back and forth and laugh and goof around, but you're never trying to take over the scene. And I've seen some and been experienced to some where it's just like the DM tries to become too much of a force, and I think you do a really good balance of that as well. Was that something that you just naturally kind of came into, or you learned over time? To kind of find that balance spot, which for me I think would be very difficult to do.
Uh, I guess a little bit of both. I
Hmm.
because of the way I started, it was you could say I fell into it and then learned over time why what I fell into worked and why it didn't work when I broke out of it, right? I
Hmm.
mean, it's everybody else makes um, the combination of everybody else just makes so much more dynamic, so much more fun, and so many different characters than I could do alone. So I never enjoy marrying myself to I don't want a monologue. It sounds fun at first. Like I've played, I've written things out and went, oh, this is gonna happen, and then this, and then this, and that's I don't want to just sit up there and yak about me writing a story the whole time. I want to see what everybody else comes up with. So, yeah.
I
No,
think
it's
that's
just
kind of
better
a
that
fine
way.
line, though, because sometimes I've seen some, and this is me watching on Twitch and doing research and just goofing around and or watching other people play D&D at the various cons. Sometimes the worlds can be way too open-ended, right? So it just becomes there's too many choices for the party to make instead of I like a little bit of a on the rails sort of sense where it's almost like a video game sense where they take you to the next step and then you get to the next level and you've got to figure out that level, but then you're not where I mean by I guess on the rails or into the next level, you're not stuck finding your way to the next level. You finish this one and then you're on to the next portion of the adventure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I like it more like I don't know. I don't know how many people have been to Disneyland, but if you go to Disneyland and you're in one of those rides, you want to get off and explore, but you can't always. But yet the ride takes you through the best part. I like to think that I'd like to make a game where people can enjoy the ride as the way it's presented, but also feel free to get off and go check out something that looks really cool that they want to see. You know, it's outside of the presentation.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Is there so taking that and your DMing and your passion for that, and then turning it into Nightheart Gaming and starting to do streaming? I mean, what are your aspirations for Nightheart Gaming? Where do you see it going? You just continue to do D&D streaming? Do you want to branch off and do some other stuff? You understand kind of where I'm going with that?
Yeah, yeah. It is social gaming, really. It's so I don't see it branching off from D&D streaming other than in ways that support or game streaming in general, I guess, other
Okay.
than in ways that support that aspect of it. It really is supposed to be the stream is supposed to be playing tabletop role-playing games with like terrain and miniatures and sort of to make a minor spectacle of it, so to speak.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
And yeah, I mean that is the goal. The goal is really just to always always improve production, always improve storytelling. It helps me improve as a DM actually, especially now. I can go back and go, ooh, what was I thinking? Oh, I can do that. Even after as long as I've DM'd, now that seeing it, playing it back, going, oh, that was bad, Frank. Don't do this next time.
Okay, so I'll ask you a question because after you do a Reaper Errant episode or one of your other streams, do you go back and rewatch it? And if you do you do it like really quickly after you've done it, within a few days or so, just to see how you're doing?
Usually I do it within a few days, just to, I under a lot of pretenses. One, to spot check the video to make sure it's recorded. Sometimes I'll do it the same night. Make sure I've got the file good, but also to go to we'll either skip through to parts I thought were really cool and I want to see how they were they really cool, or was it just that cool in my mind? And also to go, was it really bad? Did I do something really bad here? Let's figure this out.
I do the exact same thing with this show. I will go back, usually probably by the next night if I'm at home just painting. I'll throw it on and I'll listen to it because I don't need to watch it, but I'll listen to it. I want to see how stupid was I? Did I ask good questions? Did I give the guest enough time to answer? Did I follow up? What did I miss? And then I try to go through and find questions that people asked during that show so I can follow up the next time and answer them, because there's all these great people watching, and right now there's 86 people watching, which is unbelievable in my opinion. I just think it's so cool, but it's funny I want to see what I can do better, and this is just a fun thing for me to do, but it's also, how can I make this even maybe a little bit more entertaining if that's possible, and I don't know. Does that? Yeah. So that's just.
I've said it before in chat, and I'll happily say it to you. You are an excellent host at this, following up on questions. So, whatever you're doing, thank you for doing it.
Well, it's yeah. Thank you for that. Your check's in the mail too. But I don't even know. It's fun. I have a good time doing it. And like we talked on the show, and I tell everybody for their come on. And I've said it on the show many times. The whole positioning of this show, the attitude, whatever, is we're at Paint Club and we're hanging out, right? And we're talking, and that's really what it is. And I kind of want that to be the case. So Gene and I have gone to our little local paint club so many times, and we just sit there and we chat about stuff, and we chat about Reaper, other miniatures, other things, other D&D stuff, other TV shows or whatnot we've watched. By the way, do you have Netflix?
We do.
Have you watched Umbrella Academy, the second season?
No, we haven't.
Oh my God. I didn't watch the first season until I saw the second season was coming out. So we just did both of them. So this is a little bit of our gaming and geek culture episode. So that what Reaper Live has forgotten about, we're picking up. But holy crap, it's really good. It's really good. It's if you haven't seen the first season yet, then I'm guessing.
No, I haven't. Otherwise, I would have probably been all over the second one.
It's good. It's really good. I was a little hesitant to start it up too, but I really liked it. It's a little bit of a slow start, but season 1 ends up great. Season 2 starts, and I'm like, maybe it's not going to be as good as season 1 ends. I think it ends up being better than season 1. So good stuff. Good stuff. So that's my. We've talked about gaming, and then we talked about geek culture.
By the way, I got about 5 episodes into the first season of Umbrella Academy and got bored and stopped watching.
Give it another chance. It's a little bit of a slow start initially, but it gets rolling. And 5 is just he's funny. The character that's called 5. He's great. He's fantastic.
Wow, never mind.
Yeah. Aren't slow builders supposed to be 6 shows in? You're supposed to give them 6 for something that builds slow.
Yeah. Yeah. See, there you go.
I'm not just saying that because you did 5. I've heard that.
Fine, I'll give it one more episode. If it sucks, Proctor, I'm sending you a nasty email.
Yeah, do that. Just along with all the other emails. Just make sure you title that one differently, so I know it has to do with Umbrella Academy and not the other thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now,
you know what I actually thoroughly enjoyed though?
Yeah.
High Score. And that was at the behest of Gene. Gene was talking about High Score last week, and it's really good.
Is that the documentary on video games?
Yeah, it's about 6 episodes, and it's about the origin of video games, and it's got a lot of really interesting stuff in it. Stuff that I didn't personally know, that the two of you probably lived through. So it's a little different. Because, I wasn't alive during the 80s when we had the fall of the Atari, and, we switched over to the spoken word and the written word. And
all right, I'm millennial. We'll continue to go back to ignoring you again. But as good as Umbrella Academy is, my favorite superhero-based streaming series is The Boys on Prime. Have you seen that, Justin?
No.
You got to watch it. It's fantastic. It's dark. Anything dark and got a dark humor to it. It's just love. I just think it's great.
What is this again? Say it again.
The Boys?
Oh, okay. I thought you said, never mind. That was the middle of the sentence. Yes, I have seen The Boys. I love it. Yeah. In fact, I think the first weekend after ReaperCon is when the second season comes out. I think all of us are having a watch party in Discord for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen that, Frank, that's another one for your list. But
I am slow. I often get to things, but I didn't watch Stranger Things until it was actually done, for example, with its runs, third season before I actually started watching the first season. Things like that. I'm just slow to get to it.
Yeah, one disclaimer for The Boys, though, is it is gratuitously violent is an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a plus. That's murder hobo stuff. That's a plus. Yeah.
But my fiance will not watch it because she doesn't like. She likes. She's okay with it, but it is so unbelievably over the. It's more over the top than Kill Bill was for gore, right?
but there's a humor associated with it during that time that it kind of compensates for the over the topness, and it makes it more, graphic novel graphic, to me at least. The humor bloodens or softens all of the
it does. I agree.
violence and blood splatter and things getting placed in people in weird places that shouldn't happen. But then, it's great. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I see. I don't really like that, except when it's humorous. Like I could watch Shaun of the Dead all the time.
Yeah,
it's super humorous, gratuitous. But if you get into something like Saw, I'm like,
no. Yeah, I'm
no, it's not like that. And actually, to Valendo's point, because I picked up the graphic novel as soon as I watched the first season because I wanted more. It is there. I liked the show. I really did not like the comic, and I read after even when the first season is supposed to cut off, and it's definitely a very different vibe and feel.
Oh, really? I haven't picked that up at all. That's interesting. So that's our segment on TV shows. I wanted to go back to Frank, and very fascinating. I've tuned into Nightheart Gaming. That's on Twitch on Thursday nights. Is that right, or is that Wednesday nights? Thursday nights.
Pre-game is Thursday nights. Yeah,
pre-game is Thursday nights, where you are a certified mixologist.
I'm not. I wouldn't certify me in anything, but I am a practiced.
Yeah, you're a practiced, certified, licensed doctorate of mixology. That's what I'm going with. All those things. He has multiple degrees in mixology. I don't know if that's actually a thing or not, but if it is, Frank has got it. And you make up some of the craziest drinks. And I want to be over at your house. I want to have a Reaper Errant episode at Frank's house, so he can make us all these fancy drinks.
I would love that.
I would love to do that too, actually.
Wouldn't that be great? Because occasionally we've played D&D at Reaper, and Ron won't play with us, but he'll bring in Moscow mules in the copper, right? It's copper cups that you make that in. Just fantastic, just great. And I'm not a big drinker. I like to drink, craft beer or whatever, but I don't drink a ton of hard alcohol or spirits or whatever you call it, mixologist. But we were talking a little bit before the show, and we joked about your former band, Nickelback, and how you had your stint with them, and then you moved on to other music career, and then this was probably after the days of Nickelback. You're a musician, and I didn't know what, besides singing, then you took up an instrument. What instrument do you play, or do you play many?
I did play in a band probably 12 years. It was my sole source of income.
Wow.
And, well, not sole source. It was my primary source of income.
Yeah.
And in a band, you just, depending on what you're after in that band, you just play whatever comes to you. I played guitar for that band, and it was a cover band. When I enjoy cover bands, I don't necessarily enjoy I didn't enjoy the bands that I had tried in that were just trying to make a name for themselves. I just wanted a band to entertain people. So we had a huge set list. It was a 5-piece band that allowed us the liberty of handing off responsibilities. So I maybe had lead vocals on 30 of those, but I was definitely not the primary singer. You would not put me in that category. And then I swapped back and forth lead and rhythm guitar. That is my area of strength, I would say, playing lead and rhythm guitar. Although any instrument in a band I could play.
What was the overall genre of music?
I like to define it as top 40s rock from the 50s to, at that time, what was the present, which was like 2003.
Wow.
Because it was anything from something that the Beatles might have had radio or airplay on, or older than them. to Metallica or Nickelback. We had some Nickelback
Oh yeah, did you
songs.
you sang you sang lead on Nickelback, didn't you?
I
You
did
did
not.
it.
I did
You
not.
did
I
it.
did not get the lead for those songs.
I
Interestingly enough,
was gonna ask. I was like, what was your favorite band to cover
Yeah.
for, and why was it?
Yeah. Why was it Nickelback?
it
Exactly.
was. So no, I didn't sing the lead on the Nickelback songs. I ended up getting the lead
Oh.
on the screaming songs, the AC/DC, the
Oh.
Metallica,
Okay.
the Aerosmith. Those were mine usually.
Do you
All I
ever
want
play?
to say is, look at this photograph,
Oh,
right?
okay. Look at this
And it,
photograph.
I really shouldn't have sent that one in.
no, it's a fantastic picture. I think the only downside to it was shot by a Nikon. I just know that.
Oh, the Nikon Canon
Um,
discussion. I would
Justin,
call it a
you
debate.
really want to die for that on that
Yeah.
Nikon, that Canon hill.
yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Me and the other 300 million people in the world who use Canon. But
Uh,
actually, all jokes aside, Nikon is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
I really,
they're all fine.
Yeah.
yes, they're all fine. But I did want to ask though, as far as your band goes, um, did you happen to meet Anne through this touring band of yours that was?
No, not at all. I was done playing when I met him. I had well, and it's I took a day job and looked for a stable, regular income. Being in a band, even if your income's okay, is there's a lot of tracking down people at the end of the night to make sure you're paid what you were promised and lining up
Mhm.
next week's work and all that stuff.
What was the name of your band?
The band I was with the longest and did the most like actual running around was called Holy Mackerel, and it's no relation to like uh what's his name in the Holy Mackerels. It was just that's the name we came up with,
Oh,
or they came up with before I was in it. I
Okay.
started when I was 19 or 20 in that band,
Wow.
playing in
And
bars.
so, besides the lack of money, why are you not still doing music?
Oh, it takes time to do it right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I still have a guitar hanging around that I'll pick up and play with occasionally. I even
Mm-hmm.
somebody on one of our streams, somebody came into the chat and threw some lyrics down. So during the break, I picked up the guitar and wrote a quick little tune to sing it over the top of. So I'll pick
Oh,
it up from time to time.
so you are the bard.
So
Oh,
what I'm getting from this is you're going to come and do all of the music and the soundtrack for ReaperCon live.
Mm.
no,
Mm.
no way. Real music and soundtracks? Ugh, that's a lot of work.
So where can we get your album?
You can't get any albums from us. We were cover bands. We played on a few charity albums that are probably floating around out
Okay.
there
Okay.
here and there. I have no idea.
Do you know
I
if
can't
any
even
of
get my
your
album.
if any of your music is up on YouTube or anything like that?
Nah, it's not.
That's
I
just
doubt
too
it.
old.
I mean, it
Yeah.
could be. We played at some fairgrounds and stuff, so you never
Yeah.
know what someone recorded.
Yeah.
But not that
Yeah.
I've seen.
Wow, that'd be awesome to see, though. It'd be awesome to show up on the giant screen next ReaperCon, Justin. Just, Frank jamming out in his old school. Was your hair that long?
My hair has been this long since high school.
Yeah. What kind of product do you use in your hair? It's exquisite.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not what I use, it's what I don't use.
Oh, and you used, lots of beer and conditioner, or spend a lot of time
Oh,
on it.
what
I'm
everybody
just-
should be doing.
I'm just yanking your chain now. All right, so let's get down to business. So ReaperCon, it's coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
So let's run down your schedule, because Friday night is really the key for your whole entire schedule, is Reaper Errant.
Definitely. Reaper Errant is going to be epic.
Yeah, little teaser, because a lot of the people a lot of your players are on right now, I'm assuming. But
I mean,
hopefully, We're gonna get a
you
new
all
audience.
know you went to hell. I mean,
We
it's
went
going
to
to start
hell.
with you all in hell.
It's so
And not
awesome.
only that, but you're going to hell on an assassination mission for Fathom's uh, patron. I mean, this should be Murder Hobo's dream, right?
I am. I'm dreaming. I can't wait. I mean, it can't come soon enough. I like to do it now. Or this Friday. Let's just do it this Friday. Let's just screw it and we'll play in hell this Friday and we'll play it again next Friday. Because it's been a lot of fun. It's been so much fun. Did you think we were going to attack that bugbear on Friday? Or do you think I was since I walked in the room? And you wouldn't
I
get
wasn't
on my way?
sure. It was always an option. It was always. I thought, okay, well, maybe they'll attack the bugbear, but it wasn't a real bugbear.
No. And I thought about it for a brief second, but I'm like, that's not a real bugbear. There's no reason. Why would a bugbear be down here? That's not right. It's a setup. You're trying to
See, this is
to
what I
lure
mean
me
by you're
in.
not really murder hobos. You think this stuff through, and you just murder when it's appropriate.
Oh yeah. We murder with the least amount of consequences. We try to reduce our consequences as much as possible, and by consequences I mean me dying. Other consequences really don't matter, but just as long as I can stay alive and continue to murder, that's perfect. So blood, and more blood. Here comes the blood, is what Gene writes. So it was so much fun. But besides the most important thing, Reaper Aaron, next Friday, you are also tell us about what else you're doing.
Well, so we have the Brinewood game on Saturday. What's the schedule time for that, Justin?
The
Brinewind is going to be big.
The Brinewind game, let me see here, is scheduled to start at 5 p.m.
Yeah. So we've been working with Joseph on that to try to make sure that we're going to have all the spectacular terrain and lighting and stuff available for him while he's DMing that game. That's going to be exciting.
For anybody who is watching this who has not seen or been part of a Joseph run game, you got to watch this. You're in for a treat. Joseph, if anybody can get into the game and get into narrating a D&D style game, Joseph's over the top. He's great. He's got his own flavor and character, and he's awesome. I really like Joseph a lot, and he puts in so much. And then every ReaperCon, he's running games the entire time, and you talk to him at the end of ReaperCon, and his voice is hoarse and gone. I'll do one of these shows, and my voice is sore after talking for an hour and a half. He does it and shouting and getting into it and getting all worked up, and then he'll do games for us afterwards for the artists. Yeah, he's crazy. That'll be fun to watch. I'll actually watch that. That'll be fun. Yeah. And then with you behind the scenes setting everything up, it's awesome. It's gonna be great.
I'm excited about it. I have not got to play in one of his games, but I have heard about them before. So I'm super excited. I think this is going to be the merging of these minis and terrain and his playing D&D. This is, I mean, you can't beat this.
And there might be a really cool set piece. I don't want to have any spoilers, but there might be something cool, right?
It will always be something cool.
Yeah,
I think there'll be something cool.
Super duper cool. I'm just saying. I don't know anything. I'm just making it up. But
just making it up.
Yeah, just making it up.
Okay.
So
and then Sunday we have a game Sunday morning. The Maximum Maidens. So that's our all women gaming group is going to be playing.
Oh, cool.
A very special episode, which I know that Anne has things played for that, or things being arranged for that. So I'm excited about that too.
So is Anne DMing that, and you're
Anne is DMing that.
Okay.
Anne is DMing, and I'll be behind the computers and helping set up terrain and switching that out and stuff. Yeah.
Is Anne with you right now?
Anne is. She's at work technically, I guess. She's in the house, but she's here somewhere.
She's the one of the unsung things that I want to make sure we give shout out to, especially on Reaper Aaron in particular. But I know from watching your other stream on Thursday She's massively involved in that as well. But she helps out behind the scenes on Reaper Errant a lot, moving everything around, getting all the cameras and all that stuff going, which is awesome. Much appreciated. It's really cool. But the star of the show, well, one of the stars of the show is Luna. So Luna is, I forget, what kind of parrot is Luna?
Luna's a little conure, a little cinnamon green-cheeked conure.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you had Luna?
Like 3 years. It's not very long, really.
No, I mean, but parrots live a long time, right?
Yeah, I mean it's so conures. Yeah, it's sort of mixed. It could live 25, 30 years, this particular bird, but often ends up with lifespans of 10 years because the house can be a dangerous place for a bird. So I guess you never know, but we try to do our best.
Highly intelligent, highly social.
And needs highly intelligent, highly social, needs to be part of the family all the time. If you're eating, you need to eat what you're eating. If you're doing something, they need to do whatever it is you're doing.
Now, is this so a parrot for me is a very interesting pet choice. I mean, I've had dogs and a couple of cats in my life. I've never had a parrot. Why a parrot? Why did you get a parrot?
Probably the intelligence. It's probably the intelligence. It's wanting to have. I don't know. This bird was either gonna like me or not like me, but they were gonna do it overtly, and not like a cat. You know, a cat will just use you sometimes, even if they don't like you.
Yeah. Hear that, Rhonda? Hear that, Rhonda?
Hey, I love my cat, but we have a cat, but he, he only likes me when he can get something out of it.
Yeah.
Or when he feels like snuggling, and the rest of the time,
cats.
I'm nobody.
Yeah, that's a cat. That's a cat for you.
Yeah.
That's what cats are. Yeah. But a parrot kind of sounds maybe a little bit more like a dog.
Well, but they won't. Well, maybe. I've had all those kinds of animals in the household at one point in my life, and parrots. But if they don't like you, they will. It'd be like having a dog that if it didn't like you, came at you every moment that it saw you, which I don't think people would have that, right?
No, parrots would do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If a parrot doesn't like you, they'll come right for you.
Has Luna not liked somebody that has come over?
There are people that come over that Luna does not like. It's through no fault of those people, and he has to be put in his cage, or he will purposefully try to draw blood on them. He'll try to hurt them.
Wow.
Straight for the jacket.
I
mean, that's what I like about him, though. To be honest, not that he's aggressive, but that
he's got a little murder hobo in him.
He's got a personality, and if he doesn't like you, he won't ever fake it.
Oh,
can I get a attack parrot sign for you guys to put on your front door?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't, now that you're at the end, but I need to ask you when you started playing Dungeons and Dragons, since that's how when did you start playing this game?
When did I start playing? Wow. It's kind of told the story. So I'm a child of the 80s, and when I was in middle school, that's when D&D was kind of having I don't know if it was his first insurgence, but it was relatively new, and Ral Partha and Grunadir was along, and I had some friends that had started playing, and they invited me over, and it's like, we're going to play D&D. You'll like this. Come over and try it out. And so I sat down, and I just started goofing around with them. But Mr. Short Attention Span Theater, being myself, I quickly saw the miniatures, and I would play D&D, but I would be doing kind of like what we're doing now. I'd be playing D&D, but I'd be painting on the side while we're playing D&D. But I loved the whole story of it and the universe of it and the characters of it. For me, the real interest in it was all the miniatures that it inspired. And then I find by getting to play D&D now in particular, is I can even take some of those stories like you're taking us through now and like try to incorporate them when I'm painting and creating more of a character instead of just a static paint by numbers kind of piece. Make that character a little bit more have a personality. So I've always enjoyed it. It's just been that middle school time where I started to play and paint and stuff, and then got into high school and the friends stopped playing. I didn't know anybody else, and then went through high school and college and into adulthood. It was not that I'm really there yet. But got back into miniature painting and started going to Reaper again. It wasn't until I started coming to the artist cons and anything that we even started playing D&D again, and had to figure out all the rules and get the dice and get the books, and like, oh my God, this is so cool again. But I've been painting miniatures again for years, and wanting to play. Just where I live up in the mountains, there's just not a good crowd. And for me at least, I need to feel, or want to feel, super connected to the people I'm playing with. I want the party that I'm playing with to be good friends. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy the group that we're playing with. To play with Gene and Jason and Bobby, well, somewhat Bobby, but and then Rhonda and Jen. I mean, it's awesome. It's just great, and to have you involved in us and directing us along. I mean, these are my really good friends that I get to goof around with, and not only do my favorite hobby with, but also we get to go and murder shit, and which is fun. It's just, how can you have a better combination? Get to do your artistic stuff and then on the side go kill things. It can't be any better than that, right? So
yeah.
Oh, Frank's origin story. Gene wants to know your origin story.
Oops, sorry. 2 minutes to go. We're out of time.
We go about an hour and a half, Frank. So we're still going on. Let's narrow that origin story down a little bit. Do you have an origin story you like to share on your origins of D&D, or do you want to talk more of it from the miniature side? I mean, because you not only like playing D&D, you love the miniature side of things as well, right?
Yeah, I like both of them. I mean, I'd play D&D. I love playing D&D with miniatures, but I'd play it without, right? But I have learned over time with other people I've played with, the miniatures help people play and enjoy the game and focus on the game a little bit more than if it's not there. So if you can have them, I try, because for that reason it just appeals. You end up being able to appeal to more people with different ways of processing information. Well,
it helps to set, like, so you're good at like saying, let's do the marching order, and so we know how we're going and how we're positioned. Sometimes I've played in other games where you don't really know, okay, you come in this room and there's these monsters, and what do you do? Like, okay, where are they exactly? I like how you set it up with the rooms and everything. To me, that it helps me. Well, I don't need to visualize it because they're right in front of me, but it helps me imagine the scene a little more. Okay, what am I going to do, kind of thing. It ties me into, for me, what I filled my gap of not being able to get to play D&D is I like to play video games and like the Dark Souls series and stuff like that. To me, that's very D&D-esque. You're building your character, but you're off on your own and you're fighting, against big odds and whatnot. So, yeah, I like that.
I'll give you then, because it seems to tie into that, the miniature origin story for D&D, and then if you want more, you can decide from there. But so for miniatures, I can remember when I began to need miniatures, and it has a lot to do with what you just mentioned, right? We were playing Wednesday nights where we'd order, I was staying at somebody's house, and they would order pizza on the way home, and we would have all their friends come over, and we ended up with a game with like 12 to 14 people that were regularly playing this game. And it was 2nd edition D&D. We'd sit down, and when we first started that, there was not miniatures. And there was one particular point during some epic battle where we spent 6 hours one night doing something like 2 or 3 rounds of combat. And the reason was, they were in a cavern and stuff was flying everywhere. And every time somebody had something to do, which was exacerbated by the second edition options rules where everybody could act all over the place, they'd go, "Where am I? Where's everybody else? What's going on? Can I see them? Can I not see them? Where's the enemy? Where am I at? Where are you at?" And I just went, I need a map. I can't answer these questions to every single player every single time this comes up. So I went out and got a mat like for the very next game, bought some minis, went and went to a hobby store and got trees. Trees make a massive difference on the game board. And we started so that was my origin for minis. It's just trying to streamline so people could actually look at the play surface and know where they were, see where stuff was, and you didn't have a lot of time wasted talking about that.
Yeah, and where am I and all that stuff, and it's just really cool. Yep. And it's really cool to see, like, if you're going to fight a monster, to see like the miniature that most closely resembles that actual monster and not just a potato chip or something like that. It's just it's just really cool to see that. To see just back to Reaper Errant when Christine Van Patten's the Mushroom Queen thing that you showcased on the very last encounter was just really cool to see. It really set the scene a little bit more with the caverns, and there's just so many cool miniature companies out there besides Reaper, of course, but just the terrain pieces, the caverns, all that stuff. There's so many companies now making those kind of things. It's just a lot of fun to do that as well. But hey, Justin, are you answering email? Are you around right now?
I'm here.
Okay. I know you had a few questions or what have you. Did we miss anything that you wanted to talk about?
No, we pretty much asked them as we went, as they came up. So
okay, yeah, and you got in your cannon dig. You're happy about that, right?
Oh, I'm ecstatic.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure we just got to keep Justin happy. We run him over the bus quite a bit, but just wanted to make sure he was good there. Let's see. Golly, I have been very efficient today. I've got I went through all of my questions. If you guys in the chat have any questions you'd like to ask Frank, but outside of D&D, Frank.
Outside
of D&D, I mean, are you into running or playing any other games? Anything else? I mean, what else? What are your other interests? I mean, I'll add a part B question to that, and you can choose whichever option you want. What other activities besides streaming, DMing, rocking out when you have your next Nickelback reunion tour? What else is Sir Frank up to these days?
I mean, I'm one of those people who enjoy so many things. Everything. It's like a hobby I've done at one point probably. So, but I photography was one of the I was doing not too long ago before I had to stop because I needed the time to apply it, or mostly stop. I actually did a lot of photography I still do if there were more marathons and runs and stuff. I still was doing that, before we all went into quarantine.
You would shoot during a marathon?
Oh, it's one of the great environments. You end up getting up, just the energy. So from my point of view, I'd get up fairly early in the morning to get out, usually before the sun is up, and all the runners are getting ready, and they already have that pre-run energy for everything they're going to do, if it's a triathlon or marathon, or even if it's just a 5K run. There's still just this amazing energy as everyone's getting ready, and then you just get out there and take pictures. Basically, that's I guess part of it, but the energy in general of everyone excited and getting ready for this run was was probably the best part of it. But that definitely slowed down recently.
Do you run yourself?
I do not. I am not much. I've never. I have one of those. Well, right now I'm definitely out of shape from too many years of office work. But I often was tried to get coaxed into running because I can. I guess I can run if you look at it, but I really can't because somewhere in my head it goes, no, this isn't for you, and I don't even have to be very long into it before that happens.
Yeah. No, I ran in college just because I needed something to do and detox from the night before. But I never really enjoyed it, and I like to ride my bicycle. I will go out and go forever on that, but I can't just run. I get bored, or it's not covering enough ground for me, or something. I don't know what it is, but there is something about that that kind of high that you can get from once you can get into something like cycling or something like that. But that's cool. Like I've mentioned before, and you have chosen the right path in your photography equipment by utilizing Nikon, because some people just haven't learned yet. But it'll take time. It'll take time to know that Canon is good. It's okay, but to really shoot and really enjoy it and really get the most out of your photographs, Nikon's probably the better way to go. But yeah, there's something cool about shooting and putting yourself into an environment, and it sounds like even an environment that you're not like in tune with normally. You're not a runner, but you've somehow you like the energy of that and being almost a voyeur sort of, shooting into that, involving yourself into it. And you can use all kinds of telephoto lenses and what have you, but to use a smaller lens and putting yourself into the scene, that kind of energy and stuff. We like to go on trips and stuff, and we go diving and I'll take underwater pictures, but when we're on land, I like to go into the towns and just take pictures of people, and to get up close to them, and it makes you talk to them, and makes you get to know them, so you kind of feel what's going on. So that's fun. I didn't know that about you until today. I didn't know that you like to do photography. That's cool. I knew I liked you.
Do you like photography?
Yeah, and you like Nikon too, which is even more of a bonus.
I don't
gives
know.
Me, somebody else I can give Justin shit about him liking Canon. So we're not alone.
That's
we
fair.
Can gang up on him.
That's fair.
Huh.
Should I answer Reaper John's question?
What was Reaper John's question?
It's do you ever get burnt out? And I'm assuming you mean DMing, right?
Probably. Let's go that route. Yeah, let's go that route. Do you ever get burned out doing getting all the DMing, and maybe even let's throw in the night hard gaming part, because that's a lot of work you've got to put into it.
A ton of work. It's a full-time job almost.
Yeah.
I mean, of course I get burned out, but I think there's different kinds of being burnt out on stuff. D&D is part of me. I don't do it it's kind of a strange thing to say that. It's not really a hobby so much as something I'm going to do. I've done it since I was 6, and I'm going to do it until I'm dead. And so you can burn out, but I'm not going to burn out of D&D. I'm going to burn out of maybe playing the same old thing or doing the same old thing, but you change it, but your players are going to burn out. If you're streaming, your viewers are going to burn out. So really that sort of just helps you. If you're getting burned out, for me, I'm like, oh, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to get over this burnout? So do I need to change the story up? Do I need to do a different game? Do I need to thematically alter something? Do I need to, I don't know. Those are the kind of things I start changing up to correct that.
So you don't ever get to the point where you're like, oh my God, I need a break from just DMing or streaming, period? Because you stream every single week. Do you ever take a week off, or need to clear
if it was my choice, I wouldn't take a week off. Occasionally we have to.
Yeah.
But
cool.
I wouldn't.
that just shows that it's like a major passion of yours, that you're able to, because you have, what helps me, and we're similar in this, is this is kind of, I guess, would you call all this you kind of like your hobby, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And
a fanatical hobby.
Exactly. That's what I would classify my little obsession that way as well. But I do have a real world job where I have to put myself in the business sense and mindset, whatever. So this becomes an escape for me. But I still get a level of burnout at times doing this, where I need to take a break. And for me, I talked about it before in shows. There's various sides to the hobby, from painting to sculpting to basing to whatever. I can't think of anything else, but at least there's 3 sides to that. That you can jump into and do that. Do you find, like you said, you will change up your story, or will you ever jump into a different game, a different, I don't know, Pathfinder, or a different kind of D&D inspired game?
I don't know that I'll do that. Okay. I think at some point in my life, I just went thematic. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it's called necessarily. It could be Pathfinder, but it's I don't have an issue with the rules. I don't get burnt out or need that change of a rules being changed. Just because it's a storytelling game with rules to help facilitate the story. So it's really not the issue. It's usually just the story that needs to be changed up, or the people, or you could even change the location or the way you do it, or some other portion of it. But I mean, I'll play other games, but I'm not as it's not that I'm less passionate about gaming. It's that I have one, and this isn't really a brand loyalty, and I'm always interested in seeing. So if a new system comes out, I will often look at the rule set and go, what are they doing in here? This is cool. This is how this is how they did this. This is how they did that. But I don't see a need to then necessarily play that. It's, already have something that I've learned and can work with. And learning the other system, I think I've done it when I need to be flexible for players that don't burn out the same way. They are tired of D&D, or they don't want to go to the new edition, or they want to stay on an older edition or something. So I'll be flexible for them, because the game itself is just the important part, not necessarily the system being used.
Is the current edition your favorite of D&D?
Yeah, 5th edition is my favorite edition. I think they did an amazing job, to be honest, about making something. Because one of my favorite things about D&D are new players or newer players, getting people involved in playing who haven't before, and they really lowered the. They just made it easier to step into it and play. Taking some of the complications out of the rules that don't really need to be there unless you're worried about it tremendously about that kind of game. And you can get into the details. I enjoy the number crunching games as well, but not everybody does, and I don't need the number crunching games. I like the story games, so it's okay for me not to have rules that number crunch everything. So I think they did a great job of balancing it out and letting people get into the game without that barrier.
Yeah, Jason says dice making, fantasy pencils, dungeon cooking, all tangieled hobbies.
Yep, those are.
Yeah.
I mean, I even like the pregame show. I make thematic drinks for D&D for the characters in other games. You just tie it in any way you want to. Almost anything is tangential to Dungeons and Dragons, though. To be honest.
Yeah. True. True. Isn't it? I mean, just so many movies, so many other genres. Got all the miniature companies, or a good portion of them as well. Outside of Reaper. Give me a miniature company that you really enjoy seeing their stuff and painting up.
Dark Sword.
Dark Sword, yeah. I am efforting to get old Jim on, Jim Ledwig. Probably be closer in late September or so. But I'd like to have Jim on as well because I want him to talk about his origin story. But what do you dig about Dark Sword?
I really. So, I don't know. There seems to be just an amazing level of care put into how those minis.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I agree.
Just they all are very like I don't think I could put a monster army down of goblins without, if I use Dark Sword minis for that, I was like, oh, this is the lead goblin right here. I like they're the character. But it's the sculptors. I don't know if that's the miniature company. I don't know enough about this, and this is where you and Justin can lead me, because the sculptors are the same sculptors sometimes, right? Just the pieces that get decided to be either commissioned by or going to the different companies is what's different.
No, I mean, you've got Gene, you've got Jason, you got Bobby. Am I missing anybody else? I know Christine Van Patten just did some pieces for Jim as well. So there's a lot of crossover, and Reaper and Dark Sword are very close to each other, and Jim is friends with Ron and Ed and Dave and everybody. He almost always comes to ReaperCon and hangs out. Just a good dude with a good passion for the hobby too, and they're both very good at cross promoting and cross supporting each other. Both Reaper and Dark Sword. I'm always happy to throw shout outs to them regardless of what I'm doing, to Jim and them. That's Jim's own little company. He started it from scratch, and that's his passion and what he got into it. So we're going to try to get him on soonish, after ReaperCon and everything else. So, well, we're getting towards the end, and I wanted to see, we talked a lot about Nightheart Gaming and stuff, and is there anything you want to pub related to Nightheart Gaming?
I mean, so I don't know that I'm gonna do much more than say, look, we're Nightheart Gaming, we're streaming D&D games and all the things that support D&D games. So it includes behind the scenes, what it takes to make a campaign sometimes, or why we might lay out certain terrain based on camera angles, or if we need to create a road or a building, or the things you need to prep for your D&D game. So we do that a lot to support our weekly D&D games. But there's nothing coming up other than to say we are, it goes back to ReaperCon, but we're focused a lot on trying to make sure this goes smoothly, and we make some awesome looking games for it. That's our goal. We always want to be as inclusive as we can of everybody out there that wants to watch, play the game, and we want it to look just cinematic when we do it.
I'd like to throw out a request/challenge to the 99-ish people that are watching right now to go out to Frank's Nightheart Gaming on Twitch, and if you got some extra subscribes in you, throw them some subscriptions. I think this helps them keep that platform going, keeps Nightheart Gaming going, keeps them running Reaper Errant and doing all the cool stuff they do. But I know probably most of you already have. I know when I've clicked over and just watched Nightheart streaming, I see a lot of the similar names and folks, and I see that they've subscribed by their little icons. But if you haven't and you got an extra subscription out there in you, please throw them Frank's way at Nightheart Gaming, and Anne's way too. And don't forget about Luna. We don't forget about Luna. We want to keep her in seed, right? Seeding her seed. So, Justin,
thank you for having me.
Oh, I haven't even got to that point yet. Justin, are you preparing for a raid?
I am actually.
Is it going to be Anne again? Are we just going to just throw it Anne's way again? Is that what we're doing?
Not necessarily. I actually going to do it a little different this time.
Okay.
Since Frank is very active on Twitch, I was going to ask Frank if he had anyone special in mind that he wanted to throw it to.
Oh.
Wow, anyone special in mind? I mean, if I look at channels that are up, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I see. It depends on where you want to go, Justin. I see some like Captain Madlove for painters, and I see Blue Box RPG for Dungeons and Dragons that are playing.
Ooh.
So we got choices.
But I don't want to throw Anna under the bus because I was just joking. I didn't know that she was actually on.
Yeah, because Painting Big is up and running.
Yeah, she is up and running. So I may have to call an audible here. But also I see Kathy Wapple is up right now. She's excellent. If you guys never checked her out, I mean, there's two Wapples. They're both great. You can't go wrong with a Wapple. So that's good to go with. Captain Madlove's crazy. It's fun. But that's all I have showing in my stream. I don't have very many showing in my stream. So whatever you want to do, Justin.
Let's go with Kathy.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Cool. Well, all right. Now here we go, Frank. I want to thank you for being on the show, and let's just get one more. I mean, come on, everybody. This is classic. This is great. This is going down, and we're gonna have. Oh my God! So your next ReaperCon, real world, everything's fixed. We got a vaccine, all that stuff. COVID's dead. We're going to be at ReaperCon in person again, and there's going to be some t-shirts, baby. Oh yeah.
You know, at the last ReaperCon, Mocha Minis she hosted a karaoke show, and I was there. I was there.
Were you singing?
I did.
I did not stay in the room. It. I did. We had finished judging, and all I needed to do was drink at that point. I just couldn't stay. I had to get away, and I escaped early. And I got in trouble for escaping early, but I left it was after, not after the judging, it was after the award ceremony, and my head was killing me, and I just needed to get out and consume. So
that's right, Reaper John. It was her and Derek.
I missed it. Yeah. It was. Mocha was singing though. Mocha was there.
She was, and so was Derek. Yeah.
Yeah, and Derek was there too. Yeah, and but I'm sure you stole the show. I missed it. Did you sing something about a photograph?
Didn't. Just for you, perhaps next time I'll do that.
All right, guys.
All right, cool. Well, thanks again, Frank. Nightheart Gaming, check it out. Are we ready to start streaming? Am I delaying it? Am I killing your mojo?
Yes. We have about 10 seconds.
All right, 10. All right, see you guys next week.
Thank you.
I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll be here.
Catch us tomorrow morning for Anne's show. Thank you guys very much, and thank you again.
Should I go on the breakdown of shows?
Nope, we don't have time.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right, we done.